Hi, welcome to Warblog. This game is the Al Quiara game, and just twiddling really. The interesting feature of this is the river, the Tigris River, which is pretty wide, and I'm assuming not readily crossable at any point other than a little bridge over here. This is 60 kilometers south of Mosul, and it's basically, I think I sort of mentioned it down in there, sort of like the road to Mosul. I mean, in the media is sort of saying, well, the Iraqi government is saying they're going to take Mosul out this year, 2016, but a lot of people are a bit dubious of that. I'm not really into sort of older stuff, but quite a few games based around Waterloo and the road to Waterloo. I'm not sure this really is comparable, but it's all about heading north. Now, essentially, we've got the River Tigris, which is a key significant feature here. Now, what actually happened was the coalition forces. Let's just go into play mode. You see there's some air power down there. The coalition forces did destroy this bridge. However, I'm not playing it as being destroyed because most of the units could probably traverse it. They could probably readily repair it so that they could get across, because otherwise you just can't get across. And I think that, you know, especially the ISIS flag could probably cross this river at more points using small boats and things like that, because they are quite highly mobile. So it's a bit sort of, well, I've left it in there. There's so much to develop. I mean, once I actually implement the insurgent units, they'll probably be able to cross rivers. You know, maybe it'll take them a whole turn, but they'll be able to do it. The rivers are sort of a bit odd, and you know, I mean, it's just bizarre really, because I've actually already put in other types of rivers. I've got other types of roads, so there'll be streams and major rivers. Major rivers you can't cross. Streams will cost something extra to cross. So these things are going to take forever to implement. But anyway, at the moment we've got this nice long sort of river up here with the sort of ISIL, as it seems to be called now, on the sort of eastern side. I think the map is a bit skewed over to this side because all the action is going to take place in this part of the map, and all this is dead space really. The Daesh get they get some reinforcements from Daesh down here in turn 4, I think, and they get some other ISIL units on about turn 8. I think it's 6 and 4. No real reason for these reinforcements, just put them in there. Fair amount of air defence and artillery, just to give it a bit more sort of a bit more scope. Essentially, I mean, obviously, I'm not really familiar with exactly what they're doing, because they can even say, well, why don't you do something else? But you know, I mean, why don't they just head north if that's where they're trying to go? Well, they're trying to sort of, you know, obviously take out places like this. It looks a lot worse than it is, I think, because these are relatively small units, and this stack is a nice big sort of division with some armour, mechanised infantry, you know, so they're quite big, and these are just little small units. These units are sort of balance out against these. I mean, these are Kurdish. They're Iraqi Kurds. Now, they can't really take on these units. I mean, not without heavy losses, going at 1 to 1, maybe 1 to 2, maybe a 2 to 1. You know, it's all a bit iffy. So, and ISIS don't want to attack them, ISIL. So it's a bit sort of, this whole front along here, we've got a nice big unit there, I don't know where that came from. So you could, as a player, choose to take out everything, but what you've got to sort of, well, it wasn't much bit you've got to. I mean, what's interesting is that this river really is significant, because even though with one bridge, the ISIL player can quite easily be, you know, caught against the river. So it's a bit of a dangerous situation. But essentially, the nuts and bolts of this game are that the Iraqi player has to take out Makuk. I mean, this is the historic precedent, and I think I've put these units in the wrong place. But there's Makuk there. So they're basically going to drive the 15th Division. Now, I got this from the South Front website, but I'm not sure there is a 15th. They might have mistaken it as the 5th, I don't know. But anyway, it doesn't matter. We'll call them the 15th. You know, they're going to be pretty unstoppable. And essentially, all you've got to do in this game is take this objective. Now, as a secondary objective, I put in El Qayara, which is on the other side of the river. I can't remember how far over I've got with regards to units being able to attack over rivers, but essentially that means you've got to come through Aqaba and Aj, whatever this place is, Aj Hujij. So you've got to go through these two places in order to get there. I think this is going to be a little tougher, but if you want an extended play, then that's what you need to do, or you can do. I mean, to start off with, I think I'm going to go for some air power. Wonder why the air power's not working. I don't know why the air power's not working. I think it's possibly the turn 1 thing still happening. Anyway, I'll have to sort that out at some point. I can be bothered. So, air power is not going to do anything on the first turn, but I don't think that really matters because I've got tanks. How many movements have got left? Lots of movement. The movement points have changed sort of not sort of fairly recently, but not too far back. And it's I think 1.2 to move through desert, so it's not 1 anymore, which I think gave mobile units a lot of power, but also for infantry units, instead of it costing 2, which is what it was, and allowing them only to move 1 space, they can now move 2. So this unit could move into that space, but he would have no more movement left. What I'm going to do with this one is slot that into this zone of control. So that gives me plus 20% on this attack. I can't get into that hex this turn because I've entered the zone of control. That is a zone of control, so that's how zones of control sort of to some extent protect flanks. Because this unit is set back a bit, I can get into there. Just for the hell of it, I'm going to move that infantry there. Their movement is over, so they won't be able to engage in combat. To 1.5. I'll leave him there so that he can at least contribute. I'll see how this battle goes before I do anything else. So as you can see, the infantry exhausted themselves just getting into those hexes, but everything else is okay. I haven't really thought of the odds. I'm just sort of, hitting them with everything really. I'm assuming it's going to be quite high. They've got 2. They're dug in, so it's doubled to 4. So I've got 10, 15, 20, 27, plus probably some quite significant odds factors going up because it's armour and mechanised infantry against just infantry. So I'm going to guess it's a 7 to 1. I'm actually guessing there. I mean, what's 4, 8, 16? Well, that's 4, 5, 20. 24 would be 6 to 1. 6 to 1. I think it's going to be 7 to 1. Let's see. Yep, 7 to 1. Defender eliminated. So that was good. Now, I mean, that was a fairly average roll. So, I mean, obviously it could have gone the other way. I mean, not the other way that I would have lost, but it could have been a bad roll. I think on say a 12, and it could have been an exchange, which meant he'd still be sat there. My units would have got precious fatigues, which is the think one of the most alarming things about the combat results is actually getting a huge, stack of units like this all being fatigued under such situations. But I mean, this is fairly normal, and 7 to 1 eliminated that unit. So, any movement left? So he's still got some movement, allowing him to move into there. I think the armour will move into there, just to sort of get that zone of control. And that's that. So it looks as though Makuk is going to fall to the 15th Division. Now everything else is simply going to move up to afford a defensive line based on zones of control. So there's 2 units there. Not going to get through there. I mean, not that we really want to. There's quite a lot of infantry down there. What's it doing down there? No, it's got no movement. Yeah. I think that's all the movement done. Okay. The ISIS player, ISIL player, they can afford to do some sort of. I mean, they could get a 2 to 1, 2 to 1 against this little unit there. I mean, that's about all they can really afford to do at any one time. That's got to be the weakest spot. And they can't do anything against this lot. Now, if they were irregulars, as I hope to do, then in future attempts they might be able to, because they can attack that axis 5 1 to 1. But I haven't got the insertion rules in yet. 2, 3, 4. Oh, get some artillery onto that. 1 to 3, no. I think the only thing to do is to fall back to this bridgehead. He's stuffed. He's going to try and defend Makuk. Still got that problem where some units don't get any movement on the first turn. It's frustrating. Let's just see whether or not the air power can actually do anything. Yeah, it's just that first turn glitch just seems to be going on forever. But there's only a few seconds left, so I'm not going to play anymore. I don't want to rush it more than it will be rushed, because there's only 25 seconds left. But so there you go. There's an introduction to another game that you can play on warblog.co.uk, and see whether you could take town and defeat the bad guys. See you later. Bye.